Yo, welcome to Containing Luxury. On today's episode, we're actually going to be taking you on a little field trip down to a piece of land that we acquired and teaching you how we do our preliminary walkthrough and start getting to the design phase of what we're going to put on that land. So let's get started. All right, so we've officially been fed and we just got down to our land here. I just noticed that our landscaping company doesn't seem to have come and trimmed it like we thought they did. So we need to definitely take care of that. But a lot of time, that's something you need to consider too. Whenever you do purchase vacant land, you want to make sure that you have somebody taking care of it because the city will come out and fine you. Also, when you take care of it and maintain it, you're less likely to have people going and dumping garbage on your land. So they know that you're coming down there and you're less likely to have people. I thought there was like a bobcat back there, but people will show up and dump all over your land. So it's best just to keep it maintained, not have to deal with the city. So anyway, while we're down here, we're gonna just get a general idea. You know, if you're shopping a piece of vacant land and you wanted to, you know, say you had a 3-container build. So 3 containers, if you were just doing it in a simple rectangular shape, you'd have 8 foot, 8 foot, 8 foot, so 24 feet. So you need at least probably 30 feet if you're on like an inner city lot. The setbacks for where you can start construction are gonna be much tighter to the outside of your property line. If you have a piece of land that's way out in the middle of nowhere, usually you'll have more land and a less buildable portion of that land available. But in this case, we're in a pretty dense area, so they allow you to build, you know, right up to the edge of the property line. It's usually 5 feet in these types of scenarios, but you got to consult your building department for the exact figures on that kind of stuff. But for us, we're just going to want to, you know, make sure that a 24 by 40 foot structure will fit on this piece of land. And I can already tell it will, but if we get all the people racing down the road. So one thing you can do is just kind of get an idea, you know, that fence is probably the property line. So if you wanted to just get a ballpark and you didn't have one of the rollers to measure out your lot, you can just real quick, you know, maybe it will add like 4 feet for this section that I can't get up to that. And my shoe is gonna be pretty close to 12 inches. So we'll just call it a foot each one. So you can kind of just walk it off real quick, you know, and go all the way across the entire lot, counting all your steps. Or if it's not that exact and it's a bigger piece of land, you can just do it in a yard and it's usually gonna be like one of your full steps, you know, depending on how tall you are. But 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, and then just multiply it by 3. So that's your basic way. But the best case is at Home Depot, they sell the little rollers. You can go out and you can lay out your lot. But at least gives you an idea of how much buildable space you have on your lot so that you're not wasting a ton of money with coming up with this extravagant plan of a house build and then you purchase a piece of land and you can't even put that house on that land. So you want to make sure before you even make an offer on a piece of land or you do your due diligence to know that your design will work on your piece of land. But that's all going to come down to having, you know, a rough plan of the house you want to build and propose it to your local building department so that you can ensure that it will fit on the setback requirements. So there are a ton of balloons. I'm guessing the birthday party's over there. All right, so now that we have a good basic idea of, all right, we know that our, you know, 24 by 40 foot structure is going to work for this piece of land. The next thing you really got to find out is there a minimum square footage allotted for a dwelling for your individual lot? So there might be, if you're living in a suburb area, they might say that the minimum square footage of a dwelling is 1,300 square feet or 1,800 square feet. It could be, you know, something outrageous, or it could be that you can put a tiny house on it. But that's something you're, again, gonna have to consult your local building department. But with all that set aside, we already know, we've done our due diligence, I can build a 3-container home on this property. So the first thing I wanted to do was just come down here, put eyes on our land, start kind of getting a good idea, just because I'm a contractor, of about how much grading work I'm gonna have to do. Is there any slopes that I'm gonna need to have to reinforce? retaining walls, and just kind of coming up with some of those just ballpark numbers outside of the construction of the home or the dwelling. So there's a lot of other things you need to factor in, one of which is impact fees, or our impact fees. So that's something that, you know, you're doing your budget in your mind, and unless you're a general contractor or somebody that constructs new dwellings or new buildings, you wouldn't even think. But there's a big chunk of fees, and this is, again, drastically going to vary. But just for this lot, it's a real small lot. It's in a you know, a lower income type of area, and there's $15,000 in impact fees, which is for roads, schools, tying into the city water, all of those things that comes right off the top. So you got to buy your land, then boom, $15,000 in impact fees. And then you're going to be getting into the rest of the stuff you need to get that lot ready to even begin construction. If that's cutting in a driveway, sidewalks, retaining walls, any of your grading, or even excavating out if the soil's not good, you could have to bring in a lot of fill. So that's where you need to kind of do that and have that in your budget already, because if you don't factor a lot of those things and give yourself a cushion, you're going to set yourself up for failure. But knowing all that, now we've kind of putting eyes on our lot. We know we've got a bunch of trees we got to try and clean up. Our pad is pretty flat here, so I think it's going to work pretty well. We're gonna actually just do a stem wall around our 3 container. We're just doing a straight rectangle. We'll have a stem wall around the entire perimeter. We'll set our containers on that, and we'll bring in our utilities underneath. And I think this will be a pretty easy build because it's nice and flat, and I don't see anything major restriction wise. You know, if you want to spin around here, we've got some of the, boom, look at that, ninja. We've got a bunch of utility lines here. Usually the rule of thumb is the lower stuff, that's all your cable, like DirecTV, Comcast, you know, all those kind of guys. I think DirecTV is actually satellite, so maybe that's not, but AT&T, Comcast, all those kind of guys. That's their lower stuff, is the communication lines. And then your higher voltage stuff is gonna be up higher from that. But you know, if we're gonna be bringing the containers in, that's something I gotta start scouting that out. Is there anything that is gonna, you know, stop me from being able to pull up a semi truck with a container on it, and then also get a crane to pick up that and get it onto the site. So these are all things, if you're looking to do a container build, you really got to weigh out, consider, do your due diligence, scout your land, and make sure that your design fits for your land, and that you don't have any obstructions that are going to stop you from being able to use cranes and semi trucks, because that's what it's going to require with the containers. Okay, so this is one of those things, you know, we have a pretty flat lot to build on up there, but down here, this is, I believe this is actually owned by the city, but in some cases it might be someone else's property. But if we want to be building up here, this retaining wall, we're gonna have to, you know, take care of it. So that's some of those things you really just want to walk your properties, maybe before you make an offer on something, to just budget these types of things in. You know, I'm gonna have to come in here with some excavating equipment, rip all this out, you know, put a footer, put in some block, put in rebar, and then fill it with concrete, and then backfill it. So virtually, you know, we need something to stop from soil erosion, which would affect our foundation later after we build the house. So come on, guys. Really? There's trash cans everywhere. Why do people have to do this? Okay guys, so now that we've covered a lot of the preliminary work when you're looking at vacant land and kind of getting to the drawing phases, we just actually wanted to run something else by you. And one thing we've been kind of considering, and we still may do a poll on the community section, but we just wanted to touch base with you guys and see what you thought about maybe taking ads off the channel altogether. We do obviously need to bring in revenue to afford to be able to keep the channel going. We were debating on bringing in just like a small segment that we'll touch on each individual video in the video, of just a small advertisement for the clothing brand that we're supporting, which is staypatriot.com. There'll be a link in the description, but it's all patriotic clothing to help support our nation's bravest, both first responders and the armed forces. So it is raining right now. So it's just one thing that we wanted to see about, you know, how you guys felt about it. You know, just eliminating the ads is a big thing, and we can't really control where they are in the video. So, and they're really annoying for us too. So we just wanted to see if you guys were cool with it, if we could do a little segment on the clothing for both the hats, shirts, you know, the different products we have, then we could eliminate the ads altogether. So hit the comments below, let us know what you think about that idea, and we'll see you on the next one.